I was afraid this might happen. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to my channel. I'm Quisha King, and today we're going to be talking about the unfortunate split and upcoming divorce of Devon Franklin and Meagan Good. So many of you have probably already heard about their upcoming divorce. I know this is not typically the type of content that we do on this channel, but this is a channel that talks about family, and this is the unfortunate splitting of a family. So I wanted to talk about it, to talk more about um the roles in a relationship. This is not something that's specific to Devon Franklin and Meagan Good, but unfortunately, I'm just going to be using their relationship as an example. I am divorced myself, no judgment here. I wish this had never happened to them. I was really rooting for them. Unfortunately, in this day and age, we see these types of things happen. So early on, when they were telling their love story and telling how they got together, Meagan Good had said that God had told her that Devon was her husband. So that was kind of red flag for me, number one, because they are people of Christian faith. I am a Christian. And when we look at the Christian faith, God has order. And in Christianity, the husband is first, then the wife, then the children. That's the order all throughout the Bible: husband, wife, children. Doesn't mean that the wife is less than the husband. It just means that, God has told us that we are the weaker vessel. We need our husbands to cover us, provide, protect, yada, yada. He's strong in some ways, we're strong in other ways, but there is an order. The Bible also says that he who finds a wife finds a good thing and finds favor with the Lord. So when Meagan came out and said that God had told her that Devon was her husband and he had no clue, God had not revealed this to him, that was a little concerning to me. I mean, it was just one of those things where it just seemed out of order. That's all. Out of order. God is a God of order. He's not going to go out of order for anybody. So that was just a little strange for me. The other thing, once they got married and I saw, the way she dressed, and I know, you're not supposed to talk about that as a Christian. You're supposed to just let everybody just do whatever, God says that we should be modest. God has built in human beings certain things. For men, I don't know many men who are very comfortable with their wives being very provocative with their bodies. I just don't. It's supposed that is your body is supposed to belong to your husband. Your husband's body is supposed to belong to you. And so I know he took up for her. I know he would stand beside her when people criticized the way she would dress and the type of roles that she would take. So, let me just back up. So Devon Franklin is a minister. He's like a Seventh-day Adventist. He takes time out on like Fridays and Saturdays to read the Bible. He goes off social media. He's a very strict, devout Christian. Meagan, on the other hand, is a little more, she's not as traditional, which, you know what I'm saying? Like, people probably wouldn't consider me a traditional Christian. Certainly not Orthodox like Devon Franklin in any way. But you still need to be evenly yoked. Like, I wouldn't get with someone who was like straight up and down, like, get off of social media on Friday and Saturday. I don't think that would be the husband for me, because that would cause a lot of problems, because that's not my life. And we have to be mindful of things like that when we are picking who we marry. I don't believe that God chooses husbands and wives for you. I think that is a human choice. Being unevenly yoked are one of those things where you have to be mindful of. So the way she dressed, men typically do not want their woman for their body to be just out in the world. And I think I am on the outside looking in. For him to be so devout as a believer and then be totally comfortable. Now, I know he took up for her in public, but behind closed doors, it's really hard for me to believe that he was totally comfortable with the way she dressed and the roles that she continued to take once they got married. I mean, Meagan would, the type of roles were just rather, even for me, I'm very faithful and I'm very devout in my faith, but I am not, I don't follow those strict rules. And the things that the roles that she was taking that I saw, I'm like, oh my gosh. Like, I just kept thinking, like, oh my God, how does your husband feel about that? And again, I'm on the outside looking in, so I'm not trying to be super critical of their relationship. I'm just more so talking about being mindful of who you marry, when whoever, if you're a believer, whoever you are getting marrying, these are important things to consider when you are taking on a husband, when you are taking on a wife. And you can't just let those things just go by the wayside, because they are going to cause problems. I always say, if there is an issue that you have with your fiance, soon to be spouse, if that issue doesn't go away, can you live with it for the rest of your life? For instance, if you know your spouse dresses very provocatively, if you know your spouse cannot seem to put their clothes in the hamper, I don't know, just whatever, and you can't live with that for the rest of your life, you might want to make some different decisions, because you can't, those contentions, those arguments are going to come up over and over and over and over again if the person does not change. And most people don't. So you have to be willing to accept the person right where they are. And if they never changed, are you going to be good with that? If they're an actor or an actress and they're going to be kissing and loving and rubbing and doing sex scenes and all that kind of stuff, are you going to be comfortable with that for the rest of your life? What's too far for you may not be too far for them. So, in the beginning, maybe it's just kissing scenes, and then they're presented with another role, and then it's like throw you up on the counter, humping, and all kinds of crazy stuff, and it's very explicit. Are you going to be comfortable with that? So you have to think about these kinds of things when you are choosing your spouse. But these are lessons that I've learned along the way. Things that I wish that I was told. Being able to know how to live with something, or being able to know that I would have to live with something for the rest of our lives, the rest of our marriage, if it did not change. I wish somebody would have said that to me, because I think that really would help. I hope this helps someone else. If you're considering, getting married, and they do something that is, they're constantly doing a certain thing, is that something that you can live with for the rest of your life? That is certainly a question you need to ask yourself. And the Bible also tells us, how can two walk together unless they agree? So you have to be in agreement on some fundamental foundational things before you get into a marriage. You have to. You have to be able to look at the person for who they are, not the potential that you think they can be. You can't look at potential. Oh, maybe one day they'll be a six-figure earner. I don't know, whatever it is. If they never do, because most of the time they probably won't, can you maintain your happiness? Can you, and not even happiness, but contentment? Because in marriage, you're going to have ups and downs. Marriage is going to ebb and flow. It's not going to be rainbows and sunshine every day. I remember a woman, she had been married for like 35, 40 years or something like that. And I was asking her, like, what's the secret? How do you do it? How do you get through the hard times? Like, what is it? And I don't know, during our conversation, she said, Quisha, sometimes people talk about having hard months. She said, sometimes you have a hard year. And I'm like, a hard year? A whole year? The whole year is hard? She's, yes, sometimes you have hard years. But we've made a commitment to each other that no matter what, we are going to stick with this. Some of these things that I wish were told to me that were never told to me. And we've got to get back to maintaining our families and keeping our families together, because divorce is such a hard thing. It is so tumultuous. It's so traumatic. And here's another thing that I fear for Meagan, because Devon was the one that filed for divorce. And I don't know, like I said, I'm on the outside looking in, but for him, he will probably marry again. For her, it's going to be tough because I'm sorry, even though she's a beautiful woman, people aren't going to like what I'm about to say, but it is the truth. It is harder for women to find marriage, happy marriages, equally yoked men when you get older. It is. It's just a fact because the good ones are typically taken. And most women, they have sense enough to know I'm not letting my husband go. I'm going to do what I need to do to keep my family together. And so the ones that are out there typically have some, trust me, dating is really, really hard. Y'all single girls, y'all know if you're a little older, you know what I'm talking about. It's really hard. It's not impossible. It is not because, who knows? I might be getting married soon one day, but it is not impossible, but it is very, very hard. And if I could help somebody, please listen to this when I tell you it is tough to find a mate when you're older, especially as a woman. So I hope this blesses you. I hope you dig more into this. Women, especially, even if you're married, you might, if you're going through a tough time, you might want to reconsider um, filing those divorce papers because I think it's what, like 80% of divorces are filed by women nowadays. Women are leaving marriages like 90 going north. And unfortunately, many men the men are getting remarried. Most women are not. So you think you're going to leave this one because, oh, it's greener on the other side. Girlfriend, let me tell you, it's rough out here. You might want to keep that husband. At least you know that crazy. You don't know what kind of crazy that's out here that you might be opening up yourself to. And if you have children, you got to think about them too. Anyway, I hope this blesses you. I hope that you guys get something from this. This is not to, harp on Meagan and Devon. I wish them all the best. I hope that they can be healed and that God can restore their lives. And so if you like this content, please don't forget to share, like, comment. Let me know what you guys think in the comments section below. Comment, like, and subscribe. I will see you guys soon. Bye-bye.